This video is a response to a question that I have received. Almost all of my talks will for some people result in a yes but. Yes but. These yes but I will address at the end of this video. But first I will give my perspective on the question. So let's get started. The question is lovely simple, and it goes like this. Is there a way to know when you are doing self-inquiry correctly? Beautiful question, and this is my answer. First, we must ask ourselves. What do we actually mean by self-inquiry? Well, you have heard me saying it before. It has everything to do with asking the right questions. Asking ourselves the right questions will lead us on a journey. A journey where we will be gaining insight into what it really entails to be a human being. So when we do self-inquiry correctly, it is a way to gain insight, which lead us to the next question. What is insight? Well, insight is not knowledge. Insight is a direct recognition. For instance, if someone tells you that you will burn your finger if you put it into a candle, that we will have to consider being knowledge. We can also call this kind of knowledge, we can also call that for second-hand knowing. Whereas insight is first-hand knowing. If you put your finger into the flame of a candle, you will experience first-hand knowing. You will have gained insight. Okay, so far so good. So now let me ask you, how much of your current knowledge is first-hand knowledge, and how much is second-hand knowledge? Consider it. A question like that will lead us to self-inquiry. When we do self-inquiry, we are actually investigating into ourself. We are investigating into our own beliefs. And we do that by asking ourselves, This belief, and it could be any belief, this belief, where does it come from? This belief that I am currently having about what lies underneath that belief. Is it first-hand experience? Is it first-hand insight? Or is it based upon second-hand knowledge? During an inquiry like this, if we come to understand that a particular belief is based upon second-hand knowledge, then we ask ourselves, is it possible? Is it possible to obtain first-hand insight into this? And if that is not possible, then we decide to hold this idea, to hold it loosely. And we decide that we will be open to other perspectives. That will lead us to freedom. Okay, let's try out the only true form of inquiry. Let's do this inquiry with the most important question you could ever ask yourself, and you know what it is, but I will still say it. The question is, who am I? So what is your answer to that question? Is your answer based upon first-hand insight? Or is it a result of second-hand knowledge? Let's try it again. Ask yourself, who am I? What is the answer? Tell yourself what the answer is. Say it out loud so that you can hear it, so that you know what answer you are currently carrying. This inquiry that we have just made, this inquiry, this question that I've just asked you, this question is at the very core of non-dual spirituality. Everything else does in many ways not matter at all. If you are more interested in other matters, then go ahead. But this much I will tell you. It does not matter how much knowledge you gain. If you do not know who you are, you can never be certain that the knowledge you have accumulated has any real value or not. So let us continue our inquiry into what it entails to be a human being. At this point, I will suggest that you pause the video and that you make a small list of what the answer to the question is. When I ask you, who are you? And when the list is done, then come back and watch the rest of the video. I'm not going to ask you about what you have written on the paper. Instead, I will ask you to consider this. Picture yourself standing alone on a small island. There are no other human beings on the island. Just you. Now look at the answers you wrote on the paper. The answer to the question, who am I? Here standing alone, with no one to verify or to protest. What is the relevance of these answers? Do these answers have any relevance whatsoever? For instance, I am a man. What relevance do that have when you are alone on an island? I am a mother. What relevance do that have, standing there alone on an island? I am British, or whatever nationality you think you have. What relevance do that have, standing there alone on an island? I am an intellectual. What relevance do that have, you standing there alone on an island? The truth is that you cannot come up with one single conceptual answer that has any relevance standing there alone on an island. So all of your conceptual answers, they have nothing to do with who you are at the core. When we see this clearly, we gain insight into our own true nature. We learn that any conceptual answer consists of second-hand knowledge. Every conceptual answer consists of second-hand knowledge. By doing this inquiry, we have exposed an illusion. And now we can move on and look for the true answer to the question, who am I? Let's continue with our little role play and go back to the island where you are all by yourself. Now standing there alone on this small island, ask yourself, who am I? And be mindful about the fact that no conceptual answer is relevant, and that any conceptual answer will be second-hand knowledge. Second-hand knowledge simply because a conceptual answer is constructed by language, and you did not invent language. Language is something that you have been taught, hence second-hand knowledge. So the answer to the question, who am I? The answer has to be a direct recognition, an insight. And when it dawns on you, it will typically come as an epiphany. Suddenly you see it clearly. The role play with you standing alone on an island is actually very telling. It sort of explains why sages of all time have emphasized the importance of seeking solitude and stillness, and to quiet down the mind by true meditation. Be still and know. So there you have it. I cannot tell you who you are. I can only point. If I gave you a conceptual answer, then again it would be second-hand knowledge. And if you just purely believed in me, all that you will get was a new conceptual conviction. No one can tell you the answer to the question, who am I? No one. You have to see it for yourself. And the best chance of you seeing it for yourself is to fall in love with stillness. Just sit in silence and observe. We can do that together. I have planned some live guided meditations online. The first one will be next Sunday, April the 2nd. You can find more information on my YouTube channel. Or perhaps sign up for my newsletter. You will find a description in the information of this video how to do that. So there you have it. Understand the difference between first-hand insight and second-hand knowledge. Understand the dangers of treating second-hand knowledge as if it was first-hand insight. Fall in love with silence. Quiet the mind. And the core of you will come to realize itself as that. Now let's look at some yes, but. Yes, but. One of those could be, yes, but do that mean that I have to seek first-hand knowledge about everything? And I get it. I get that question will arise. And we cannot possibly gain insight, first-hand insight into everything. We will always have to rely to a great deal upon second-hand knowledge. But as long as we understand that it is second-hand knowledge, it's fine. Defending second-hand knowledge as if it was first-hand knowledge will always end up painful. And actually, not knowing that you are treating second-hand knowledge as if it was first-hand insight, that is the core reason for all suffering. So second-hand knowledge has to be handled carefully. We have to stay open-minded so we don't fool ourselves by believing that second-hand knowledge is first-hand insight. The whole world is in a chaos. The whole world is in a chaos right now, and has been for millennia. And it is all due to this one single fact. It is all due to this one single fact that the human being identify with second-hand knowing. That is, that the human being finds a sense of self in second-hand knowing. All the chaos arises out of that. And the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So there are many people who are trying to do something about the chaos. And by all means, go ahead. But in almost all cases, trying to do something about the chaos just creates more chaos. There is only one way to end the chaos, and that is to end the chaos within ourselves. And we do that by becoming so deeply interested in gaining insight into what it entails to be a human being, what it really entails. To gain first-hand insight into who am I? If you gain first-hand insight into the question, who am I? Then everything will fix itself. Thank you for listening. please come and join April the 2nd, Sunday, for a live guided meditation. You do not need any experience to participate. Thank you.